Guys, this year is a completely different year for video games. I mean, we have no conventions, we have no E3, we have COVID-19, and on top of that, we have two brand new consoles coming out at the end of this year. The hype is different, the feel is different, and I don't know if that's for the better or for the worse. But one thing that I can say is for the first time in a very long time, every company, whether you're AAA or you're indie or in between, is kind of on the same level playing field. Large companies like Xbox and Sony or Ubisoft or EA, they're not able to create these big, huge, elaborate stage presentations in front of like a massive audience. So everybody's doing everything digitally, and it's creating a different change in the landscape. But let's be real here. Not every game lives up to the hype anyway. Some games just fall short despite the big marketing push. So it got me thinking about some big games coming out real soon. I was online over the weekend and somebody made the comment about Ghost of Tsushima, and they said that the game was going to be good, but there was no way that the game was going to be great given Sucker Punch and their background. And then not long after, somebody commented about Cyberpunk 2077 and said that everybody was hyping themselves up for a big disappointment. Now, you can't deny that both games have been getting a lot of hype, a lot of fanfare, all from the gaming outlets, but also from the fans themselves. But there are some video games out there that deserve the coverage, and then there's some that just don't. Three games come to mind. Three main games come to mind when I think about overhyped games. The first is Crackdown 3. The second is Anthem, and the third is No Man's Sky. Three very ambitious products that just didn't live up to the hype. No Man's Sky being the only game out of the three that actually winded up being pretty decent in the end, but it took years for that to happen. And sure, Crackdown 3 was the third of a franchise of two previous games that were decently received, but the third game was kind of doomed to fail after all of the delays and after like the cloud-based destruction was taken out of the game. And let's face it, the Terry Crews spot and the big elaborate E3 stage setups and videos were kind of a bit much for a game such as Crackdown. And then you have Anthem, which had a lot of potential. Anthem had a lot of potential, but there was no true end game there. It grew to be a lot bigger than it should have been, and these are three games that I feel should have grown organically rather than being given huge marketing budgets and allowing the gamers to hype themselves up for these amazing games. And now we have two huge consoles coming out at the end of this year, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. And you know what? Launch lineups are no different. They are not exempt from this mediocre games rule. So we get all these great trailers and they make these ideas look so great on paper, and then when you get the game, it's just a decent experience. We don't get a lot of masterpieces from launch lineups. And I know Cyberpunk's coming out at launch on the new systems, and Ghost of Tsushima comes out on Friday actually, so we're about to get a chance to play that now. But looking back at all of those trailers and the way that they make the games look great, some of the blame can be put on developers because, you know, they got to put that marketing out there to get people hyped up, but part of it is from us the gamers as well, because we kind of hype things up too, and we get our friends excited and create this huge buzz for games that we want to see be great, but in reality, they were just never made to be great. And developers don't set out to make bad games. Of course they don't, I know that. But they don't always necessarily set out to make a masterpiece of a game either. Most of the time, it's in the middle. It's companies that just want to make a fun game that people can enjoy, and I think we lose sight of that very often. So going back to Ghost of Tsushima and Cyberpunk 2077, so in the case of Ghost, Sucker Punch is looking to build on the success of games like Infamous. And Infamous was a great game. And now they have the chops to build something bigger, and that's what Ghost is supposed to be. And then for CD Projekt Red, they're trying to build off of The Witcher 3, which was an epic masterpiece, and they want to build on that as well. So looking at these two companies and looking at their track record of making solid games, they have the chops. They have the chops to make something masterful. This is a different category. This is not a developer that's trying to just make a game that's fun. They're trying to make games that can be remembered for years and years to come. And that's the difference between most games and then the very few games that wind up being masterpieces. And I think that these two games in particular are receiving all of the fanfare and all of the news and press coverage that they deserve, because I think they have what it takes to pull it out. And that's the difference. Some companies overhype their games, and then some companies give their games due diligence. And that's what I think is happening here. I think Ghost of Tsushima is going to be a masterpiece. And I know that Cyberpunk is going to be a masterpiece as well. I don't see those two games failing, and I do see those games being highly successful. I don't think they can fail at this point. And that's just what it is. That's my opinion. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about Ghost of Tsushima? What do you think about Cyberpunk 2077? And what are your biggest gaming disappointments over the last, 5 or 10 years? What are the games that you feel were just so overhyped that when you finally got a chance to get your hands on it, you just felt bad. You felt robbed. I'd like to know what your opinions are, what your stories are for games like that. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. As always, this is NT Certified. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel and come back for the next video. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.